live. Welcome to Data on the Edge, where I, Jeff Mills, CRO of iMerit, speak to industry-leading technology executives and providers on how best to deal with the data problem in the ML operations landscape. Today, I'm joined with Dataloop CEO, Eran Shlomo, a serial entrepreneur founding several other companies over the years, as well as working at Intel as chief technologist for over a decade. iMerit's partnered with Dataloop specifically on computer vision projects, as they have been able to customize workflows quickly for over 50, I think, iMerit projects at this point. So, Eran, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. Excited to be here.
So, let's just jump in. If I said, who is Dataloop, how would you respond to that?
I would say, you want the quick or the full quick? Let's go with the
middle.
The middle. Dataloop was founded on three pillars. By the way, I was kicked out of so many rooms because of these three pillars. Yet we have boldly kept them. The first pillar was that we're going to a future of data development. Everything you know about software will have the equivalent paradigm about data. That was the first pillar. And if you think about it, we didn't focus on models. We said we don't care about those models. We don't care about, they are commoditized, they're fancy and they're nice, but they're not the interesting part. The second pillar, that's where everybody got crazy and upset by us, is that we said that the data developers, the human in the loop, sometimes being referred to, or, I would say that they are being referred to as the labelers today, but we refer to them as the data developers. They are the core part of the process. They're not going anywhere anytime soon, decades to come. Keep in mind, go back to 2016, 2017, AI is going to eat the world. What are you talking about data labeling? It's all like algorithms, right? No. These folks are the conveyors of knowledge. They're conveyors of information. They're the teachers in the system. The system is going nowhere without them. That was the second pillar. When everybody's talking about AI high in the sky, we're saying, data labeling is in the core, not very popular, at least in 2017. And then came the third pillar. If you didn't kick me out of the room by the first two, then the third one is definitely was enough. We said that in order for intelligent systems to be able to learn as time goes by, they have to adapt to environment. The only way they will have to adapt to environment is actually by having their guides guiding them, those people. And we're actually going to a future where machines are not going to replace humans, they're going to augment humans. And inside productions, you will have a feedback loop based on data between humans and machines. We thought that this principle is so powerful, we actually named the company after. But then it's not a software, it's something else. And everybody was dreaming that AI is like software. Well, it's not. Fast forward, 4.5 years, almost 5, 3 out of 3. Data development, human in the loop is the core. It's constantly needed in production.
Sounds like data-centric models was something you were talking about early on.
Yeah, I was excited to learn about Andrew Yang saying that. I said, Andrew, thank you for joining the team. We've been waiting for a few years. I took all or significant part of Andrew NG lectures in Coursera, learned a lot from him, and then moved on to understand that it's all about the data. And when he started with the data-centric move, I think it was in June or May this year, I was very excited because it's actually, if you think about it, it's actually going over those pillars one by one. And that was a redemption moment for me after being kicked so many times before.
So where would you say you sit within the operations workflow? So, right now, to me, as we talk about kind of data-centric modeling and whatnot, obviously the human in the loop component, iMerit obviously agrees with you that's paramount to making these models work. Where do you think, and I'll touch on some of this myself in a minute, but where do you see Dataloop adding the most value?
Yeah, I think that Dataloop has two main important parts. The first part is how do we efficiently generate training sets with people? That means how do we connect those people and generate sustainable, repeatable data sets or training sets. That's something that is very important for us. Yet, that's part by itself is very important from the technology perspective. Yet, from business model perspective, Dataloop is actually partnering with iMerit, right? We don't look to unlike other companies in our field, we don't look to sell or give these domain experts on hire. Essentially, we are selling the cloud parts, the data pipeline parts. So the other parts of the data platform, if you think about it, what spins the loop is those data pipelines, and this is where it's important for us because this is where actually our business model is based on. We're running functions, we're running machines. Now, this is in a complete synergy with the model since we see a future of human-machine data processing, integrated data processing. If you think about it, humans are very smart. They're very intelligent. They know how to learn from little data, but they're very slow and they're very expensive. On the other hand, you have the machines. They're very fast. They're very cheap, but they're kind of smart as your shoes. And Dataloop Cloud is about, can I create a single cloud that is smart, fast, and cheap? That means, can I take the advantages of both sides? And that's exactly what we do. And really excited that iMerit is such a great partner in that journey. It's a journey of inventing something, a full paradigm, right?
Yeah, for us, all we're trying to do is solve our clients' problems, right? So we're going in, we're working with large technology companies on complex problems within their data operations. And one of those things for us is being able to move quick, be agile, flexible, and expertise. So we call it flexpertise internally. So we flex our expertise. And one of the ways we're doing that is by spinning up projects quickly. And one of the things for Dataloop for me and for our team here is I think we've now spun up over 75 different projects on Dataloop in the past year. So one of the things for us is being able to spin them up so quickly. And so that's been a big partnership strength from our side, working with you is being able to spin up projects very quickly, and so that we can start testing out solutions for our customers. Would love for you to do a little bit of a demo, show us maybe an example of an edge case and how your tools are being leveraged to solve those. As that's a big question we get a lot, is how are you working on edge cases? How are you able to move quickly to get our data to the next level?
Yes. So I'm really happy that you touched the point of the ability to customize and build on top of Dataloop. Dataloop is built in the operating system mindset. That means that every part of the system is extendable, and you can actually extend it yourself. And even Dataloop itself, when we're adding more capabilities, we're actually using the system itself to enhance. That means that if I want to create now a data set, immediately I get to choose a driver. And if you want to add a different driver, that means we can host your data, we can connect to any data anywhere. And we actually have customers using that for many different exotic other drivers, right, than the standard ones that we're providing. If you'll go to the functions, to the areas where we process the data, you can actually use any type of processing power you like, whether it's a Lambda of Amazon, Kubernetes, and others like that. So Dataloop is just like a plug and play, and that goes very deep. What you can see here is the main entrance of the system, and immediately what you'll see is that Dataloop is built for unstructured data. It's a kind of a data-centric operating system where what we're used to is that the app is in the center and the data is in the side, right? We're saving files, we're loading files. Here is the data is in the center, but the applications are on the side. Data is, think about it like a data-centric cloud-based operating system. And if I'll start with giving you some example, then the first thing you would actually see is that the Dataloop platform is allowing you just to see files, right? These are all files. And if I'll show you how they actually look like, you'll see that these are files.
Hmm.
And once you're clicking on a file, just like in your desktop, an application is open. And in this case, I've started, and here you go. You can see here the image editor, and some text is being written here. And immediately I can now run, you see here I have applications, and I can now run those applications. But notice that the data is what important, the applications. Here I can actually use in YOLO to annotate, or I can use any cloud functions. Now, once I'm going and start, take a look. You can see here, I'm not sure whether it's a Google Vision or YOLO, but you can see that the model here is not that good, right? So immediately you have here a control where you can actually mark issues, and people on the other side could fix those issues. Once you're doing that, a complete analytics system will allow you to see where your errors are, right? What takes more time, what takes less time, where you're efficient. And naturally, we're training models to detect those issues as we speak. That means that very soon, I think we're, I give you kind of a shoot out here that we'll probably release it in 3 to 4 weeks. That means that if you think about it today, people are kind of marking each other bugs, right? If I now go and say, I can even go and all the way here and say, this is wrong. You can already see that the assignee for that bug is a bot, right? That bot is now receiving that bug. What it's going to do with it? Now I said this is wrong, and somebody on the other side is going to fix it. Maybe you guys are going to help us fix it, but the machine is listening. The bot is looking, and he's saying, wait a minute, something went wrong here. And once they started looking at errors, immediately you will start seeing errors appears by the bot saying, boss, I've seen that you've marked these 5 as bugs. I think this one is an issue as well. What do you think? And it will start suggesting your delivery managers and quality controllers automatic suggestions or automatic features of analyzing those quality issues. If I'll go back, this is just the image editor, right? But take a look what happened now. I have these files. If I now click on a video file, now it opens. Sorry, this is not a video. It's a snapshot of a video. If I'll click, this is the actual video. If I'll click on a video, suddenly you have a frame by frame, the same things that we mentioned before, only this time it's the video application, right? Now, I can activate here trackers and a lot of smart things around it. But the important here is the Dataloop is really agnostic to the file types. And if I'll now go and open an audio, now you see the audio editor being opened with the same file. Now, this is what we give you out of the box. But in many cases, we don't see a future of Dataloop supplying you all the labeling tools. We see a future of million labeling apps. We call them data applications. And naturally, Dataloop cannot supply all those data applications. And this is where I think that the next major opportunity, I would say joint opportunity, where you guys, I'm married, is in a very intimate relationship with the customer, really knows what fits, really knows what works. Keep in mind, you're running the show. And that means that you can actually, start in developing your own tool. And within 6 months, you'll actually be able to spin out. We've seen cases, take a look, I'll show you an example. We've seen cases where the right application can save you 10, 20x the time of labeling time, of efficiency. And here you can see, I'll show you this is, if you think about it, it's the same kind of dynamics, only take a look on this weird application. This application is very popular in the retail. That means that actually I get a catalog image, and then I actually get to save. Imagine that the self-checkout system is actually picturing me in many different angles and actually asking, is this thing that? And once I'm selecting the order, notice how the annotations look like. The same bugs mechanism, you see the same issues, right? You can see them here. It's the same learning system beneath that we've seen before. The thing is that this application, if you think about it, this is like a single data, but it's a lot of pieces. This is a catalog image. This is the different angles images. These are the selected images from similarity. So a single task contains many data pieces, many, let's call it complex modalities. That means that, and this is built specific for retail, but we have seen like dozens of other examples that we've said, you know, we can't give you those tools. And we actually sent those customers to build their entire infrastructure themselves. But within a quarter, we'll release an application development SDK where you can actually spin out a full labeling applications within hours. Just, you know, if you want video, just put a video editor. You want image editor, just put image editor. You want here combination with bounding box, just throw in a bounding box or text. Whatever you want, we'll release you. Yeah, we'll release you that, and you'll actually be able to assemble the right tool to the right job to the right vertical, where we actually don't have this capability. And it's very similar. If I go now here, Dataloop is a very developer-oriented platform. And one of the things that you've mentioned, right? You can see here the SDK and everything that you have just done here is accessible for code. The system is like built for automation on steroids. The same principle is now coming to JavaScript. This is the Python SDK. The same thing is now coming to JavaScript. I hope you appreciate it. I'm giving you a lot of previews here. So the same thing is coming to JavaScript, just a quarter away. You can also do UI, not just backend and algorithms, and exciting times.
No, this is really great. You know, we obviously build some of our own tools here at iMerit, but you know, we've leaned forward on the partnership stuff early on. You know, understanding that this space was going to move so quickly that there's no way that we were going to ever be able to build all of the tools that could ever be used for every single use case and every single different circumstance. And so, you know, we've leaned forward on that. It seems like you guys are as well now, by building out the SDK and giving other developers the opportunity to tie in and create solutions as well within your ecosystem. So I think that's really interesting. Where do you see the tooling space moving, you know, forward over the next, you know, let's say 1 year, but then let's go, you know, 5 years after that. I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious what the shorter term push you see is, but then what's kind of the longer?
I'm asking myself whether I should say those things that kicks me out of the room. Let's start with the shorter term, right? I think in the shorter term, if you think about it today, a lot of these projects and part of that, it's not both of us, you know, iMerit and Dataloop are working very hard to change that. But today, AI are being developed, kind of the data work in AI is being developed as a kind of a project, kind of a batches, right? Where customers really like the fact that they collect data, then they send it to labeling, and then they get back the results, they benchmark the results, they train the model, and then the iteration repeats itself. So I would say the next major change is connected with two things. The first one is the transition to production. And that transition comes with a transition from batch processing, where both of us, right, are getting like batches of data and expected to return results, to a continuous processing or stream processing. Right. This is a major paradigm kind of engineering where it's not about creating an iteration of sometimes months of learning, but the iteration of learning goes for weeks or days even, right? And if we're really, really efficient and the AI team on the other side is really efficient, you can even go to hours, probably with the advancement in the coming 2 to 3 years, the advancement of processing power, the advancement of the neural network themselves, really efficient systems will be able to learn from humans, you know, with hours latency, not saying real time, but with hours latency, which is really, really fast. Today it takes months. So that's, I would say, a few years paradigm where we switch to online learning, streaming data processing, both humans and machines. The next thing that maybe I hope not going too technical here, you're going to see on the technical level, you're going to see a differentiation of the debug and release paradigm for data. Are you familiar with debug and release builds for software, where you're building for debug and you're building for release? So just for the audience, if folks are not familiar with that, when you're developing application, you can build it for debug. That means that you can dig into it, you can debug it, but then you can build it to release. That means that you build to production. It's much faster, it's much more efficient, but don't try debug that. The same is going to happen with data. And what does that mean? That means that you're going to have a production labeling flows. Let's imagine now that you're working on those retail products that I just mentioned. The labeling is going to be very fast. Like, is this product? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. But this type of labeling will be just the first debug or production labeling. That's once you want to go into the training pipelines, you'll have to label that again with much higher precision. That means that the yes, no will just say, is that product good or bad? Because I want to pull out the invoice for the guy or the girl who's want to leave the shop. But once I said no, that means that something bad happened there. Then it will go to full labeling where I say, wait, where is the product? Where is the hand? Where's the label of the product? What did went wrong here? If you think about it, the production is optimized for speed, it's optimized for cost, it's optimized for throughput. The debug is optimized for accuracy, it's optimized for explainability. Please explain to me why is it bad? Because it takes much more time and compute time to explain things. And you will have these two pipelines working in conjunction, where both of them, by the way, have human in the loop, but in a totally different form, and they're learned on top of each other. That's when I talked about the streaming process, this is a sub aspect of that. I hope it makes sense. It's not too crazy.
Yeah, no, I think it does. One of the things I thought you might touch on today too is moving from, you did a great job on the files around, audio, visual, video, image. I also thought you might talk about 2D versus 3D and some of those elements.
Yes. That's That's so you're hinting here what we're working on together now, right? There is in the back end there is an extensive joint work of iMerit and Dataloop on 3D where now releasing together might be the best 3D or the fastest 3D solution out there, or at least let's wait and see. But a lot of investment goes into that space, and naturally, with everybody talked about autonomous cars. Yes, no, and about 6 months ago, Apple came and said, 2024 we're going to launch autonomous cars or autonomous vehicle, and suddenly everybody now accept that as a truth, and that means that we have spike of lidar data and AV is now booming again, and naturally iMerit is when it comes to autonomous vehicle, iMerit is probably the best team out there, right? You guys know what you're doing, and we're very fortunate to have you guide us through what is the right thing to do when it comes to efficiently generate sensor fused data with lidars, with videos, with images, and that's naturally something that's happening. The last part that I think worth mentioning coming is the self-supervision. We actually have the ability now to learn, and as compute power goes up, we have the ability to learn from massive amounts of data. If you think about it, what intelligence is or what information is. Information has two parts. It has pattern, right? A car is a pattern, and it has a meaning, what a car is or what a pedestrian is. Now, machines are very efficient in learning those patterns, but they don't know how to assign a meaning. This is exactly what labeling is where labeling comes to play, where humans are coming to play. And with self-supervision, you can actually do a lot of automation on those pattern recognition, and then have the human focus only on the meaning or the errors or on the edge cases where you actually have to translate these special cases into more formal or structured data flow. And self-supervision, another big thing that's coming in the 3 to 5 years. And this is kind of the 5 years, going back to what you said, Jeff, before. This is the 5 years time zone. You want to go to the more crazy stuff?
Well, I think we want to do another podcast when we get to the to 10 years out and 20 years out. But look, what I wanted to say right now is you've done an amazing job helping iMerit be able to respond very quickly to customers. And I kind of opened with that, you know, we're in the problem solving business. Basically, we help our customers, you know, solve very complex data pipeline challenges and data annotation challenges and human in the loop challenges, and working with partners who are able to work quickly and adjust based on the feedback that we're giving is paramount in our success, but in our customers' success. And Dataloop has been able to do that for us in spades. And so, you know, we greatly appreciate the partnership we have with you guys, and are very excited about a year out and 5 years out, and then eventually, you know, 10 years out, and hopefully we both get thrown out of rooms together, you know, over the next 10 years. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
So I'm available at the email, you know, Eran at Dataloop AI, ERAN at Dataloop AI, just as it sounds, or you know, always just ping us and contact us, or anyone from iMerit can reach us out. So any one of these is valid, right?
Well, thank you for joining us today, Eran, and everyone who's watching. This was Data on the Edge with iMerit and Dataloop CEO Eran Shlomo talking to us about Dataloop's projects, product, and the future of AI. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.